Look what I found at my local thrift shop today. It's a classic VIC-20 from Commodore. I got it for $15, and I was just surprised to find this thing there at all, because they hardly ever have any, like the only thing you find really computer related there is like computer monitors, and most stuff is like really, really overpriced. I thought, yeah, it can't work for 15 bucks, you know. I figured it's probably a dead unit or something, but brought it home and powered it on, and sure enough, not so much. Didn't work. But discovered that the problem was this little, it's an RF kind of converter box, which I promptly hacked apart, because this box is dead. I don't know if this is the original thing that came with the VIC-20. It's not actually labeled with any Commodore stuff on it. I had a metal piece on the back there, which I still have. But I discovered that the video out just seems to be a standard kind of RCA, what is that? Composite video out on here. That's about it. Just a single mono audio and composite video, just straight out of there. So I just soldered those to the other end of this. So now I can just plug it straight into the video input of any TV, and it works fine. So this thing is in beautiful physical, like cosmetic shape. Let me pull it out of the box here. Get the foam off of it, because yes, it still has the foam pieces. This thing is almost perfect. Like no discoloration on it, no staining, very little dust. And what's amazing is the logos here still had the protective film on it when I got it. They looked awful when I got it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, you know. And I got playing around with it. I'm like, I wonder if that still has the film on it, and kind of peeled at it a little bit, and sure enough, there was little film layers on it. So that was kind of neat. The whole thing is just in really, really, really nice shape, and it seems to work okay. I've got the I don't know if that's the original power adapter or not, but it doesn't matter, it works. So unfortunately, the one for my Commodore 64, the power adapter is totally shot. I wondered why the Commodore 64 was not working, and it turns out that all of the voltages on the power adapter were just totally wrong. Started checking them, and the 5-volt output was something like 0.2 volts, and then the thing that was supposed to be 9-volt AC was showing up as like 7 volts AC. Yeah, that's not right at all. It powers on kind of, but it displays absolutely horrifying stuff to the TV. Just a mess of scrambled, flickering nastiness with horrible kind of hissing audio out of it. Yeah, it's really bad. But this one here works perfectly, and I actually pulled the power supply apart for the other one. It was all kind of burnt and charred inside of it, so something happened to that one. It actually worked fine before. I had it working for a while, and then it died. So I'm guessing the power supply was just kind of hanging in there a little bit and then finally gave up. But hopefully the power supply for this one is in good shape. I currently don't have any way to load software onto it or save any programs that I would happen to write on it, because I actually want to do some programming on these. It's just kind of, there's still a community behind the Commodore 64 and these old classic Commodore computers that actually there's people still writing software for them. I'd like to write some of my own software for these. So yeah, I need to find a way to actually save out the software. And I think the best course of action for that is this little adapter. It's called the SD to IEC adapter, which seems to be made by one person in the UK and sold pretty much solely by one person in the UK. And they're not cheap. They're, I don't know if they're around 75 to 80 US dollars. I think they're like 40 some pounds if you buy them in the UK. They're a little cheaper. But I think I'm just going to have to go with that, because I bought a floppy drive for these. It doesn't work. Unfortunately, the heads are misaligned on it, and I don't have any way to realign it. I tried and failed. Yeah, the 1541 drives are just notoriously unreliable, and they're just well known for knocking themselves out of alignment. And that one unfortunately has. I thought about getting a data set for it, or one of the adapters that allows you just to run standard audio out, but those things are really hideously unreliable for loading stuff. Like, a lot of times it'll take multiple attempts to get it right, and I don't really know what I want to do. I don't want to use one of those if I can avoid it, you know. And the adapters for those really only allow you to load programs, not save them. So that's just a no-go too. So I think the ST2IEC adapter is really the only feasible way to actually load or save programs from this thing. And it'll work with the VIC-20, it'll work with the Commodore 64 and the 128. So I think that's definitely the best way to go for this, even though it's pretty expensive. Just got to bite the bullet and buy one, I guess. Well, I'll keep you guys posted on what I do with this whenever I get one of those adapters, and I'll make another video on that. Alright, like it if you thought it was cool. Have a good one.